Welcome to the Whimsical Workshop. In this video we will be covering month 7 of our Imagine block of the month. So let's get started. Yay! So if you've been following along, we have now in month 7, we are past the halfway mark on our Imagine quilt. This is a quilt project that we designed in partnership with MulQueen Sewing Center and Aurifil Threads. It is a block of the month that goes with the MulQueen Aurifil Thread Collector Club. Say that 3 times, it's a mouthful. Anyway, you can go over to the MulQueen website, you can sign up for the Aurifil Thread Collector Club, and each month you will get 3 beautiful spools of thread that have been curated by me, along with our pattern for the month of the block. And in each pattern is a bonus project, so if you don't want to make another quilt, you could each month, at the end you will have 12 patterns for 12 accessories as well as the blocks. So if you have been following along, you may have noticed the pattern. Every other month we get an inspirational word, and then on the off month we just get a nice complimentary block. Last month was this really pretty purple block with a daisy in the middle, and we turned that into a lovely zipper tote bag. This month is a word month, so this month it is dream. And there is the block. Then I took the block this month, and what we're going to do with it is we're going to turn it into a pillow, a pocket pillow, which is a pillow on the front, which is the same as this block, and then on the back we're going to create the back with a zipper, and we'll have a pocket in there that you could put your books in. Your little one can put their favorite stuffed animal in. It's just a pillow that also has some extra storage for them. So let's get started on this. So first up we have to make the block. So again, this is mine and it's all done and it's ready for the quilt. So the block for the quilt this month and the pillow front are exactly the same. So I'm going to go run through how we made the pillow block. I'm going to run through how we made the block, and then I will show you how to put the zipper in and how to make your pillow. So first up on the block, well, first before we get started, I want to go through what we need. So you will need your applique shapes traced out and ready to go. You will need to see how yummy those colors are with these colors. You will need the threads to match. You don't need them. They're really part of the program. You need to get them. The yellow is the backing and the pocket. You can do blue, you could do dark blue. I just happen to be doing the yellow today. You will need a 22-inch zipper. You will need my favorite tool, which is a Elmer's glue stick, and I'm going to show you a trick on that. And you will need to cut out all the pieces to make your flying geese units, which we've done here. So we have 4, 8, 12. And how we do these are, they are just like the, she's very chatty today. They're just like the flying geese we've been doing in months past, except this time when you sew on the block, you do flip and sew this way, and then instead of going this way for flying goose, you're going to go this way to create this block. Okay, so it is just typical flip and sew. I would definitely watch our last couple videos. I cover flip and sew extensively in those videos, so I'm not going to do it today, but just I want to go over some points about flip and sew for this particular block. First off, you will need to make 4 that look like this, which is the square in the upper left and lower right, but you also need to make 4 that are mirror image. Do not do what I did, which was made all 16 blocks with everything going in the same direction. The pattern will tell you how to do this. I'm just pulling it out to stress it so you don't forget. You need 4 going this way and 4 going this way. And then you need the opposite color placement, 4 going this way and 4 going this way. That will give you what you need to make the striped border that's going all the way around so that it runs correctly. You also will need to make half square triangles for the corners, which I'm going to show you really quick how we do it in the pattern. Then we got to make our centers. Again, refer to video number 1 in this series for the in-depth how to do fusible applique and how to finish your edges. I'm going to talk a little bit about placement and what we're going to do for threads here in a moment, but I just want to make sure that you know the extensive video is over in month 1. Then I'm going to show you how to do the pocket and the pillow back, and then we're going to put it together with the zippers. So we've got a lot to do today, and I want to get started. I also want to show you the 3 sewing feet that I'll be using for this project. I sew on a Bernina. Everybody sews on something different, so I'm not going to go by numbers on the feet, but I am going to show you the feet. So the first one, let me see if I can see what I'm showing you. The first one is our standard 1/4 inch foot. It's the same foot that we always use. We'll use this for piecing. Then to do the edges on our piece, if you haven't been doing applique with an open toe foot, you really should. That is what an open toe foot looks like. There is nothing in the front. It is open, therefore open toe foot. Even plastic makes it very hard to see the edge of the fabric and what you're working on. So if you haven't invested in one of these and you like applique, you will want to invest in that. Now the third foot is a little unique. You may have expected me to say a zipper foot, but no, I'm using a top stitch foot with this little flange in the middle, and then on my sewing machine I can align the flange up against the zipper and have that as a nice hard guide, and I move the needle position over to the right or to the left depending on how I'm oriented on the sewing machine. I have found that this is the best kept secret for putting in a zipper along with Elmer's glue. So we're going to show you some real quick and easy tips on how to do a zipper too. So with all of that said, let's get moving on to the sewing part. So the first part of what you need to do is you need to do all your half square triangles. Well, they're not half square triangles. You need to do all your stripe pieces. Then we need to do half square triangles. So what you do to make half square triangles, these are always cut 7/8 bigger than your finished size. So if you ever want to do these on your own and not want to know the mystery behind them, it's 7/8 bigger. So we need to finish at 2. These are cut at 2 7/8. Then you're just going to take a ruler, and this is the traditional method. Now if you follow any of my other videos, you know I have multiple ways of doing half square triangles. But for today, we're going to do the traditional method. That's what's in the book. So we need to mark from point to point. And what I'm going to do is there's a 45-degree line on my ruler. I'm actually also going to use that line as a reference on the edge of my square. And I'm going to draw out my center line. I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out. In the middle and work my way out. So that one is marked and ready to go. I'm going to do the same thing here. And then I'm going to go over and I'm going to put the 1/4 inch foot on the center line and sew a 1/4 inch away from it here. Then I'm going to turn around and sew a 1/4 inch away on there, and we will get 2 half square triangles. And we need 4 total, so I'm just going to mark this last one, and I'm going to go over. And again, I start in the center and draw out so I don't stretch this. But now that they're marked, I'm going to go over, I'm going to get those stitched, and then I'll be back to show you how to do the placement for the moon. Alright, so I've gone ahead and sewn these so you can see now 1/4 inch on either side. Now you can use the cream. You can use the cream for piecing. I'm using gray right now, but if you are want to be pure and just use what's in the box, use the cream. So now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and cut these on the drawn line, which is right through the center. And there we go. We have 2 half square triangles from each square. So I'm going to go ahead and get these cut and pressed, and then what you do after you've pressed them, but I'm going to do them right now so you can see it. I'm going to press towards the dark. It doesn't really matter on this project, but habit has me doing that. Press it towards the dark, and then you get these dog ears. If you haven't been snipping them off, snip them off. They just get in the way, and there you go. Now you have a perfect half square triangle. So I'm going to press these and trim them. The other thing I did while I was over at the sewing machine is I took all of my half square triangles, all of my strip pieces, and I sewed the 4 likes together. So we have those. So you get 4 different strips. One's your side, one's your top, one's your bottom, one's your other side. And then these will go in the corner for the top and bottoms. So I'm going to finish these up, and then we're going to talk about laying out the block. Okay, so we've got the borders sewn, but not on our blocks yet. We will on the block yet because we haven't put the block together. We haven't done our zipper yet, so we're going to move that out of the way, and we're going to talk about positioning the dream and the logo on my piece. So this is the 16.5-inch backing or background piece, and I need to clean my ironing board because every time I press I get lint on everything. But now I've pressed it with center lines. So how I do this is I would look at the picture, and I might even take a little ruler and draw center lines on the picture, but I look at it and I go, based on my picture positioning, I kind of use these two lines as my guide to know where this is. In this case, I'm using this one right next to me, but if you had the picture, you could draw the lines on the picture and then position these here. And then for the words, we're gonna do those last. Let me get all the little stars on. It helps when you're the designer because you kind of know where you were going with everything. But sometimes I don't. All right, so we've got our stars there. And I'm going to mix this up a little, so the stars are going to look a little different than the other one, but that's okay. It's my project. I can do whatever I want. So there's the stars in the sky, and that's pretty straightforward. Now, on this, the word dream, I kind of tilted and made all the letters flip-flop a little bit, and that was on purpose. No, it wasn't a mistake. Let's get these over here. I spend the whole video moving the threads from point B, A, B, C. What you want to do, you want to make sure that you are more than 1/4 inch in from the edge. I usually use a 1/2 inch or my finger's width to know that I am not going to catch my letters in the seam allowance when I put the borders on. All right, so I purposely tilted all the letters to give it kind of a more whimsical feel, but you still need them to kind of be in the same plane. I mean, you could just go all over and be crazy, but then it makes it a little harder to read the word. So anytime I put words on a on a block, I use a ruler, and I just kind of, I'm not even looking at the numbers, I'm just moving it up and down, aligning the horizontal edges with my block to try to decide, you know, how much space do I want between the words in the bottom of the block. So right now I'm at 1 1/4 inches. That little D kind of ticks into the corner. It's at least a finger's width from the edge. And now I'm just going to start dropping in my letters and tilting them as I go. Now the trick is to kind of keep everything aligned. So the R doesn't dip down as big as the D. The R doesn't dip down as far as the D. So I'm going to keep him kind of floating up there, and you just have to use your eyeball. But see, now I'm just positioning these and he fell right in the center. I didn't do that on purpose. I could have started with the E in the center and worked out each way. Usually if the word is longer, I will do that. But in this case, I didn't. In this one, I'm going to tip the A so the A and the D kind of line up, and then the M is at the end. Now, my M is is less than a finger's width away. So now what I need to do is kind of shift everything over. Now I have it. So that kind of helps you with your spacing. Get it aligned with the ruler. Everything's kind of touching the ruler. The R is not. It sort of floats because R is a little bit smaller than the others. I hand drew all these letters. I created this font. And so, you know, the R is smaller than some of the others, and that's just the way I drew it, and we're going to keep it because that's how we drew it. So there it is. It's ready to go, and I'm going to go iron this down, and I'm sorry this moon tip keeps popping up there. Let's talk about threads, because then I'm going to go over and I'm going to use my open toe foot, and I'm going to finish all of my edges. So in the box this month we got this beautiful, this is one of my favorite blues because it's more bluish purple. It's like almost like an aubergine purple, and it matches this background. It's just a hair darker, but if you actually take the thread out and lay it on there, it just disappears. So if you wanted an invisible, you know, if you want to do like swirls and little stars in the background and quilt your pillow, you certainly could. This would match it and you wouldn't have any contrast at all. But what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to actually stitch all the stars with this to create like an outline, so the star will pop off of the moon. That's the main reason we're doing it, because we're going to use the cream for the moon. So if we did the moon and the stars all in cream, this kind of just disappears. But then when you do it with the purple, pull this guy over, you can see it pops off the moon. So that's why we're doing the darker purple around the stars. And then I'm using the raspberry around the letters to give it a third color to pull in the raspberry from the borders and make sure that it is cohesive as a design. And this is again another, I love this cream because it's more like a buttercup. And then this is raspberry, which is, these are my two favorite purples, the reddish purple and the bluish purple, and I put them together to create this kind of midnight feel to the pillow. So I'm going to get these all stitched. First I'll get it pressed down, get it all stitched, I'm going to get my borders on, and then we'll come back and we will have the whole pillow. Alright, so there is the block. You can see here how the stitching looks on the star. And then on the letters, the raspberry just makes those, it gives it a little more dimension. It makes those letters pop out. And like I said, I just thought it was a lovely way to use three different, like this disappears, this is really bold, and this kind of just highlights it. So now that I have my pillow front and I have my block, I'm going to put the block away for the final month when we put our quilt together. We are getting closer and closer to that every month. So that gets put away. And now I'm going to make this into a pocket pillow. I thought these were so adorable. It's basically a pillow. The back of it has a big pocket that the kids can put their storybooks in. Adults could put whatever they're reading in there. You can put their favorite toy, and then they could just take their pillow where they go. And this is like a nice floor size pillow, so you could just prop it up in the room, on the floor, on a chair, and every night they can go get their pillow with their book and you can read the book. So that was the thought behind it. So anyway, so we're going to put that aside. Now what we need to do is make our pocket. So what we're going to do is you should have two 20.5-inch squares of yellow. You should have it. I do not have it. I am short fabric and I have a 14 by 20 inch piece. So I'm gonna make my pocket a little different, but I'm gonna talk to you about how to do your pocket. So if you see my sample and you go, her pocket's different, now you know why. All right, so what you will do is you will just take one of the squares, you're just gonna fold it in half, and using the top stitch foot that we're also going to use for our zipper, or just use your regular foot and do an 1/8 inch top stitch right across the fold. That's going to give us a nice finished edge on our pocket that will be lined. Once I finish that, then take that away. Then we're going to take our pillow back and our pillow pocket, which mine will look like this instead of yours. And we're going to align. Actually, this helps me line this up to sew it myself. We're going to align all the raw edges, and then we're going to top stitch the pocket onto the back. So top stitch the folded edge first, put it on this back, and top stitch on the edge, and that will finish our pillow back. So I'm going to get that finished, and we're on to the last two steps, which is the zipper and turning it right side out and putting a pillow in it. So let me get this going. All right, so I have top stitched that. You can hopefully, again, Doodles is talking in the background there. See, I just did the top stitch along the fold, and then we're going to align the raw edges of the pocket with the backing. So my fabric is a solid. It doesn't have a right or wrong side. You will need to pay attention. The pocket would be folded wrong sides together, but then the pocket and the back are right sides up when you clip them together. Now another tip for you is whenever you see them say, you know, sew this on with a scant 1/4 inch because you're going to then sew something on with a full 1/4 inch. Instead of doing that and hoping that you're narrow enough, you can just use your top stitch foot, again, this little 1/8 inch top stitch foot, and just top stitch it down, and then I know when I sew these two pieces together I will not have a double seam showing. So I'm going to go sew this together and then we're ready to do the zipper. Alright, so here we go. We've got our pocket. It's all top stitched on the edge, and we are ready to put our zipper on, and we have our front pillow, and we have our zipper, and we have an Elmer's glue stick, and then we are going to use the top stitch foot. So let me show you how we're going to do this. Alright, so my secret weapon to doing zippers is Elmer's glue and my number 10 foot. Let me grab it. Again, the number 10 foot has that flange on the bottom. I call it a 10 foot. It's a top stitch foot. I don't know what your machine number is. Okay, so first things first is we need to put the zipper on, and I'm going to use a glue stick for this, and I am using, this is looks like a 22-inch zipper. I picked this up at MulQueen's in the back left corner of the main store. For this, the zipper is 22 inches, the pillow is 20 inches. This is going to work perfect for us because we can move the zipper head completely out of our way while we apply the zipper. Then we can move the zipper head in the middle, important, move it to the middle, and we could trim the zipper even on either end, and that way we don't have to fight with moving the zipper head while we're sewing. So what I like to do is you put the zipper right side up on your table, take an Elmer's glue. If it matters to you if it zips left to right or right to left, pay attention to that. I don't care, so it's going this way. You're going to take an Elmer's glue stick, and on the top portion of the zipper, I'm going to lay down my Elmer's glue. The zipper is right side up. Okay, and then we're going to put the top edge of the pillow right side down on there and glue it in place. The Elmer's glue is washout school glue. I use it for all kinds of stuff, but especially for zippers because I don't like doing all the clips and pins and whatnot. The biggest thing is to make sure that you are between the end of your zipper and the head of the zipper so that, you know, it's in the middle, basically. It's in the middle. That's what I'm trying to say. In the middle. All right. And then we're just going to let that set up for a second. And then we're going to go over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to have my top stitch foot in, and the flange on the top stitch is going to go right against that zipper, and I'm going to move my needle position, in this case to the right, all the way to the right, and it will sew on there and look beautiful on the other side and finish up nicely. So we're going to sew that on. Then I'm going to flip it open, press it, and top stitch it, and that's where I'm going to bring it back to you. So I'm going to sew on the zipper, flip this open and press it, and then top stitch along that edge so it gives me a nice finished edge. So I'm going to go do that. I'll be right back. Alright, so there it is. My zipper is now on here, and actually it's going to zip from left to right. It will be the opposite of what you lay it out to be, apparently. I'm still learning as we go, but you can see here where I sewed it. You can see the two lines of stitching. So I sewed it right sides together, and then I flipped this down, pressed it, and then did a top stitch right there to really finish that edge. So now we need to do our back piece. So our back piece has to line up with the front piece. You do need to make sure that the pocket is towards the bottom of the pillow, so there is a top to this. And you put the pillow and the back right sides together, and you align this top edge of the pillow with the top section of the zipper that we haven't sewn on yet. So again, the zipper is right side up, backing is right side down. We're going to add the glue again, and I stay within lining in the area aligned with the pillow so that I don't accidentally glue this askew. I always like that word, askew. Okay, so we got the glue on there. You have to work fairly quickly or you just have to reapply. So I'm aligning the side edge of the pillow and the top edge of the pillow with the zipper. So we're doing two things at once. Again, you kind of have to work quickly with this. Now, if your pillow your back is a little bigger than your front, just see what I did? I just sort of stretched it and eased it in there as I glue it. Once that glue sets up, you don't have to worry about it sliding on you. It kind of helps you ease it in. And like in this case, I might have had the glue might have already dried. Sometimes they dry faster. I think it depends on how old they are. There we go. Now, another tip I just learned in a class is if you do this and you need it to dry real quick, you can hit this with a dry iron. It will speed up the drying process of the glue. But now I'm going to go over, I'm going to do the exact same thing I did before. I'm going to put the top stitch flange against the zipper, move my needle all the way to the right and stitch it, and then I will flip it open, press it, and then you go through this way, so you will need to move the needle all the way to the left to top stitch on this side. So let me go finish that up. All right, so I have both sides done. Both sides are top stitched, and we are ready to finish the pillow. You'll see the pocket is here and the right side of the pillow is there. This is what it should look like. If you're here, you got it. All right, so the next step is very important. And you're gonna need some Wonder Clips for it. We need to trim the zipper up even with the pillow. So first, get some scissors. Get some zipper scissors. These guys, my cousin Sarah sent them to me, and they are super. I know they were probably for a million other things, but I love these for my zippers. They work great, and I only really use them on plastic and zippers, so I don't worry about screwing up my good pair. But the first thing you want to do before you cut anything is we need to now pull the zipper pull open and into this pillow. Yes, open and into the pillow. I like to take a clip and clip it onto the zipper end, if I can get it in here, and keep it from spreading out while I'm trying to work on the pillow. Once you have that clipped, what you need to do is trim the zipper right even, and then we're going to take away that. I like to clip it before and after I cut it so that it has it stays closed. And then we're also going to do the same thing on this side. Get rid of that zipper end, and now our zipper ends are even, and we can just fold this over like this, and we're going to align the raw edges, and we're going to sew. Now I still do pillows for trade shows and different booths for market and stuff, and a trick that I learned was, instead of using your 1/4 inch seam allowance to make a 20-inch pillow slip, if you use a 1/2 inch seam allowance, the pillow has to kind of force itself in, and it makes it look fuller. That is not in the instructions. I left the instructions the standard 1/4 inch seam allowance because that is what it should be to get a 20-inch pillow slip. But on this one, because it's mine, I'm going to go ahead and do a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and you certainly can too, to make it a little tighter so that pillow looks fuller and firmer. So now we're going to, oops, I got dog hair on me. I always have dog hair on me in these videos. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to clip the edges, and it's okay if the back is a little bigger than the front, especially if you're doing a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then up here on the zipper, what I do, oh, here, let me show you what I'm going to do. Let me just show you what I'll do. We're going to clip it just like that. We're going to fold the zipper, there we go, down into the seam. And how I like to sew these things with zippers is I start here, and I sew here, and I sew up, and I sew right over that zipper. And then I'll reverse it and knot it so that it's secure there. Then I come back here, go around, and do the same thing on the other side. I find it's easier to sew. It also secures my zipper. And if you try to start on that zipper end instead of coming at it from the other direction, it's a little bit harder. So I do that on all of my zipper projects as well. And then this guy, again, remember we cut it so it's 2 separate parts. You just want to make sure those teeth are lined up and clip it, and the same thing here. So I'm going to sew this around, and then I will be back to stuff the pillow, and we will be done with month 7. We've got it all stitched. I did use a 1/2 inch seam allowance there, and we're ready to turn this puppy right side out. You can clip those bottom corners if you'd like, but I don't like to clip any corners until I turn it and make sure I've caught everything in the seam. So we're just gonna easy peasy turn out. I love these big pillows. Now, can you see the pocket didn't turn? So don't freak out if this is what your pillow looks like, because all you gotta do is finish the turn and flip it to the back. Sometimes when you do these multi-layer things, they flip out and you're like, oh, what'd I do? At least I do that. All right, now that we've got that turned, there we go. There is our lovely pillow with its pillow pocket in the back. Again, mine didn't go all the way down. That was me. Yours will work nicely. But you can see if you forget to unzip that zipper, you'll be in trouble. So now that we've got that, we're going to go ahead and again, remember I made this a little bit smaller. Here's my 20-inch pillow form. Now the other one was a little bit loose, so this might actually just fit perfect. I don't know why. You buy a 20-inch pillow form. Though I did buy this is a bargain one, so it's not as full as some of the other 20-inchers. There is our 20-inch pillow with its little pocket, and then let's see here, what do I got? I got a book on color. That's a good thing to put in your book, in your pillow. Take your book and you just tuck it right in there, and you can set that down for the day, and then at night you flip it over, pull out your book, and read it. Now if you want to do a divider, you could do a divider for 2 smaller books, but I left it a nice big pillow. It's super cute. I love this. This is probably one of my favorite pillows I've made in a while. I hope you've enjoyed the pillow as well. Can't see you with my glasses on. So anyway, there it is. That is block 7 of the Imagine block of the month. And the bonus project, which is this adorable dream pillow. Please make sure you leave me a comment below. Let me know if you're stitching along. Let me know what you think. We may be doing this again next year with a different kind of quilt design, maybe not a whimsical applique. I'd love to hear in your comments below, what would you like to see as a block of the month with Aurifil and my designs. So with all of that, make sure you like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.